Hey, what's up guys and gals? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the Three Stooges, more specifically about their 87th Stooge short released by Columbia Pictures called Micro-Phonies. It came out November 15th, 1945, and filming took place about 6 months before that, June 4th through the 7th, 1945. The Stooges are working in a radio station where a beautiful girl comes in and she is a great singer. She actually records the song Voice is a Spring. Now she wants to hide her singing career from her disapproving society parents while auditioning for a radio program. After a run-in with a pompous guy who plays the violin, the boys find the record and Curly starts mimicking this song. He dresses as a woman as well. Now Mrs. Bixby witnesses their performance and is impressed enough to hire them. And in fact, Curly is hired as Señorita Cucaracha. By the way, that in Spanish means Señora Cockroach. And Señors Mucho and Gusto. And by the way, they are Mo and Larry. And Mucho Gusto essentially means much pleasure. So much pleasure to meet you. That's kind of how you say when you meet someone in Spanish, mucho gusto. It's a pleasure to meet you. And so continuing on, the boys show up in their disguises to quote unquote sing, or they do a little bit of lip syncing in this, and Mrs. Bixby's evening party, but they run into trouble when Mo smashes the record over Curly's head. Now, the real singer, female singer, played by Christine McIntyre, tries to help the boys by singing from behind a curtain, and Curly continues to mimic, but she is discovered and the Stooges exit to a hail of phonograph records attacking them. It is such a funny Stooge short and I really like it, but I think that you all will be very impressed at what Curly's health did to affect the entire of Columbia's Three Stooge short timeline, and I'll tell you what that's all about. Now let's start by mentioning this Stooge short to try to explain what's going on. It's called A Bird in the Head. It is the 89th Stooge short. Now I haven't covered it yet, but this one comes, of course, 2 episodes later, or 2 shorts later, after the one that I'm covering, which is number 87. And the next one should have actually been that short. In fact, number 87 should have been A Bird in the Head, but it wasn't. It was Micro-Phonies, and it was all due to Curly and his health issue. And I'll tell you why. It had to do with the director. Now, the director of this short was Edward Burns. Now, Edward Burns talks about his issue and why he essentially had to switch these Stooge shorts because of Curly's lack or decline of performance in them. You see, between June 4th and the 7th, Micro-Phonies was filmed, and this was several months after Curly Howard suffered a mild stroke. So his performances had a lot of slurred speech and slower timing. And here comes the man, Edward Burns, to direct essentially for the first time. He's a novice director for the Stooges, and what he's supposed to film is A Bird in the Head. But according to him, it comes out as horrible because of Curly's performance. He loved Curly, he saw the greatest shorts, and he was really happy to work with him. But when he saw how lackluster the performance was, he said, A Bird in the Head can't be my first Stooge short. So let's switch it up. Let's make Micro-Phonies first because it was actually better in quality in terms of the performance. And so we'll play it first, and then hopefully when A Bird in the Head comes out, people won't notice that much. And so that was essentially his plan. This is what the director says about Curly and essentially A Bird in the Head. He said that he had seen Curly at his greatest, and his work in this film, Bird in the Head, was far from great. The wallpaper scene was agony to direct because of the physical movements required to roll up the wallpaper and to react when curling up to him. It just didn't work. And as a fledgling director, my plans were based on doing everything in one nice, neat shot. But when he saw the scenes were not playing and not coming out as he wanted, he had to improvise and use other angles to make it work. And so that wallpaper scene was the first thing they shot during the first 2 hours of filming, and he had become aware that there was a big problem with Curly. That's when he decided, no, this short is not going to come out first. We're going to make it come out a little bit later and show a better performance, something a lot better than A Bird in the Head. So Burns was able to talk to producer Hugh McCollum, who acted quickly and moved around the shorts and changed the release order of the films so that Burns, it could play to his strengths and not his weaknesses, because he had already completed Micro-Phonies and the Three Troubledoers in addition to Bird in the Head. So essentially he played the best first and the worst last. Because we continue to talk about Curly's decline in health, Burns adds a really interesting anecdote. He says that it was strange the way Curly went up and down in the order that I shot the pictures, not in the order in which they were released. He was down for Bird in the Head and the Three Troubledoers, but he was up for Micro-Phonies, way down for Monkey Businessmen, and then up again for the last time in Three Little Pirates. By the way, I love Three Little Pirates, probably one of my favorite shorts. So my question to you as fans, did you ever know that they had to switch up the order of these Stooge shorts just because of Curly's lackluster performance? Of course, Micro-Phonies is a better performance, and so we see it first. But I want to know if you think it was justified to do that, or should he just have left it in the order that it should have come out? I don't know that people mind much, especially now with reruns and syndication and things like that. But I think it was very interesting that it felt so bad that they had to switch the order. The guy was so embarrassed to release that at his work because people would criticize him and say, how could you possibly release something like this? So I'd love to know your thoughts down below. We continue talking about Curly's decline and the eventual transition to Shemp Howard. I want to shed light on this topic because it is kind of mysterious. I never understood it myself, but studying it and looking in depth, it's really interesting how his decline essentially made the transfer from one Stooge to the other, and I do want to highlight it here. We'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for the support, and don't forget to always stay positive, and most importantly, be hopeful. Thank you so much to my Platinum and Diamond tier patrons, especially David D, Jerry D, Daniel B, Citizen Kane 359, Vito L, Sally N, Russ C, and Beatrice R. If you want to be on this list, make sure to check the links in the description. It's a great way to support the channel. Thank you.